Hey there. So this is my rig Harper. I had the opportunity to show her off there recently, and I mentioned that if I had the chance, I might show how some of her techniques work. My friend Jose messaged me over the weekend asking if I would highlight how the prop dock functions. So I thought I'd take this chance to do a quick tutorial and show you how to set it up for yourself. So, quick little demonstration before we jump in, what we're trying to achieve. So if I move Harper's arm like this, nothing's going to happen, right? This is totally separated from the hierarchy. But if I come down here to my prop dock, I have the handle here, which is going to let me connect this on. So now when I move it like so, it's bringing it with it. And again, I can turn it off, and it's going to be back where it was. So there's a few options in here. There's hand 1, hand 2, the head, and then the mouth. There should be another one for the chest. I haven't set it up yet, but that has occurred to me. I really should put that in. So there is more than one prop dock. It's one of these cases where I could have this on different elements. So the yellow is now going to be connected to the head. I could have them all connected to the head. It's very customizable to what you want to do for your rig. And it's very, very simple. This isn't really going to be advanced or even intermediary. It's very disappointingly simple. So I have my old character Rick, who I rigged about 4 years ago, maybe I want to say, and I just want to demonstrate how it works on him. So Rick has 3 ports here, right? And what these ports are they're just connecting straight up to the first hand, the second hand, and then the head as well. And that's the order we're in as well. 1, 2, 3, hand 1, hand 2, head. So I made a quick little mock prop over here. If I was to connect that into, oh, hold on. There we go. If I was to connect that into the first port, he is now going to be connected. There we go. He is now going to be connected into the arm hierarchy. So if I move it like this, it's going to come. If I unconnect, it's going to go back. And that's really annoying for animators because back in the day they used to always have to essentially make a duplicate. 2 versions of the same prop is adding weight to it, and it's just a faff, and then maybe the hands aren't set up for it to hold things, and blah. So it can always be one of these small little complications for animators, and that's what we're trying to resolve. We want to be able to have a keyframe where it's on and a keyframe where it's off. Okay, so how we're going to go about achieving that. Actually, I'm not going to make a new drawing. No, I will make a new drawing. So this is going to be very rough, guys. I would hope you give it a little bit more TLC when you guys are doing this. So what I'm going to do is create a handle down here, just a little circle. I'm going to make one called off. Now I'd highly recommend using text, but I'm doing this quickly, guys. So second one, we're going to call hand 1. Let's duplicate that, delete the 1, put in a 2, duplicate that, and then finally we will just have one for the head. Here's a general tip as well. Down here I have an invisible fill. I'm just going to turn that all the way up for a moment. It's really handy to put an invisible fill in with your handles if you've an opaque, a transparent space even. That way you're able to grab it very easily without any faff. There's a lot of times where, say even on Harper, you will have certain things where invisibility is making things easier to select. And really they should also be, yeah, they are. So invisible palettes, swatches, they have a billion uses. They really do. So anyway, back to Rick. So we have our drawings down here now. Head, hand one, and off. So here is here's the moment of disappointment. How does it all work? Well, you create a deformation chain, and that's it. Well, there's a little bit more to it than that. If you go in here, go ahead and create a peg. Create a new port, and holding nothing, just connect it up like so. Like so. We have our 3 ports, and that's all we need. So we simply got to keep track of which one is which. So one is always, it's a little bit counterintuitive in this sense. One is always on the right hand side. So keep that in mind. So we have to have a little bit of a crisscross happening. It depends if you want that yourself. I'll show you Harpers at the end. So we know the first one here is hand 1. Hand without a D. We can connect it up here. The next one is going to be hand 2, connect it here. Next is hand 3, connect it here. And that's it. That is essentially it. The important thing then is take your drawing and assign them transformations, right? And when I say that, you gotta know that transformations actually, oops, I've done that wrong. That's head. There we go. And we want off to be default transformation. So what happens with default transformation? It goes nowhere. Stays totally off the hierarchy. Then from here, let's reset this arm. Let's do a quick test. There we go. So currently, what are we telling it to be on? We are saying off. Are you off? Yes. Are you connecting to hand 1? Now you're going to notice a huge boundary box happening, right? Even though it's working. We're going to talk about that in a second. Hand 2. Huge boundary box. Why are we getting this huge boundary box, guys? Because the drawing down here is still huge, and we don't want to have to deal with that. Also, doesn't appear there's a static transformation on this arm. He was made 4 years ago, so that is currently flipping. That's why that's happening, guys. I'm making a copy of this. Copy, paste. I'm putting him down here in his own little home. Okay? Then I am disconnecting this. So what happens now? It moves without a giant boundary box. This guy does not need to be plugged in. Okay? This can still be controlled down here and still be removed from the hierarchy. And that's how I'd recommend setting it up. So then from there, the only way that this gets a little bit more advanced is, 1 sec, 1, 2, 3. Put these in here for a second. And then we are simply duplicating and bringing this over. We know this is going in here, this is going in here, this is going in here. They're all sharing the same ports. And all of a sudden, you'll have 2. And you gotta make a clone of this guy. And at this point as well, I'd recommend switching their colors around. And these are going to directly overlay on top of each other as well. So one thing you could do is have this exposed. And then I can click on this guy here to grab everything else that's going on in the timeline. Just going to move this here. And then what's it called? You can change your color for a little bit of communication in that regard, which I'm gonna do with this red fella here. Change all these to yellow, and there you go. You'll have a second one now, so you'll be able to connect more than one. So hand 2. Is there another prop? There is. And there you go. So in the case of Harpers, it's presented a little bit more nicely. I'm going to delete all this. How Harpers is presented is I've only made this once because I've only ever needed to. I drag it in, and as long as the character has those ports, I just slot it in like that. And then my character has a master dock. They really shouldn't have waypoints though. And then let's click off this. And that's it. And they're going to appear down here. So for me, I have a place inside my rig where you would usually put things. Rick doesn't have it in this case, but if you have that similar thing, put it there. If you don't, what I would recommend is creating a visibility and making sure soft render is off. That'll stop it showing up in render view, thank God. And that is how to make Harper's prop dock. I hope you guys use it. It's really, really handy, really fun. No pun intended with handy, but you know, it's still welcome all the same. It's a very, very simple technique. It doesn't really take that much time. Once you do it once, you can apply it to anywhere. It's not going to affect your animation library either, depending on how you're saving your library. And once you have it all set up once, yeah, it's there for as many times as you want it. So, yeah, that's the prop dock. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Have a good one.